Now the hat does not come off and looks like it's right out of the film. Look at the detail even in his shoelaces. And he even has articulation. The beautiful colors that they use. They still did the detail in the glasses. And here it is. Harrison Ford returns as a legendary hero archaeologist in the highly anticipated 5th installment Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny in theaters this June. If you missed the backstory on the Indiana Jones Adventure series, make sure to go back and watch part 1. But for now, we open these rare artifacts up.
There's a big snake in the plane, Doc! Oh, that's just my pet snake, Reggie! I hate snakes, Doc! I hate them! Come on, show a little backbone, will ya?
Indiana Jones embarks on an adventure to find the lost Ark of the Covenant, facing insurmountable odds and opposed by notorious villains. Trust me. So here he is, Indy himself. I want to talk about the face sculpt detailing. It's really amazing, the technology that has improved so much. Here's Hasbro's face sculpt. It looks just like Harrison Ford there if you do a side by side. You can see even the fine detailing of his 5 o'clock shadow or stubble there on his chin, up through his eyes, and his hat even has this amazing like worn shading in the paint on the top. And that extends all the way down his jacket here. Look at even the zipper detail on his jacket. His signature coat. His satchel is featured here in his figure. This great holster here for his gun that we can put in there. All the way down to his baggy pants and his boots. We spin around, he's got the holster and his belt, and even the pockets in his pants are featured. Now the hat does not come off, but being an Indy fan, why would you want it to? Now if we're talking about accessories, we do actually have 2 whips. We have an extended detachable whip that we can put in his hand, that he can move and use for whipping action. And then we also have a coiled up whip as well. We do have a pistol from the film, and that does fit nicely in the holster here. Now he does come with 2 sets of interchangeable hands. We have 2 that are fists, a set that's fists, and then we have more of an open palm here, and then this one that actually looks like that might be better fit for the whip. Yeah, because this one's definitely got the trigger finger, but that is easily, you just swap right out, pop the whip hand on, and you're ready for some action. And what's Raiders of the Lost Ark without the idol accessory? And finally, his last accessory are the 2 pieces that he comes with for his build an artifact. And these are 2 winged icons that are featured at the top of the Ark of the Covenant. Now we talked about the fine detailing that's on these figures, but let's talk about the articulation real quick. We have a really great posable head, this great ball joint on the head that is going to allow Indy to just look in many different directions. The hat does not come off, that is on, but we do have movement up here in his shoulders, both up and down and around on both sides. Down in the elbow here, and in the hands we can turn those around. Remember, we have the 2 interchangeable sets that we can swap out as well. We do have a little movement actually down in his neck. If you look there, there's kind of some movement back and forth. Definitely a lot of articulation in his waist, down in his legs for all those Indy movements that we know from the movie. We have twist here in the leg, down in the knees, and then down here in the feet as well. So lots of articulation in this character, ready to pose or play and go on any of the famous Indy adventures that we know.
Snakes. Why did it have to be snakes?
Asps. Very dangerous. go first.
Sala is integral in assisting the intrepid archaeologist locating the lost Ark, and was the best digger in Egypt according to Indiana Jones, whose friendship with the Egyptian had weathered many decades since they first met as teenagers.
The Ark. If it is their Eternis, then it is something that man was not meant to disturb.
And here is Sala ready to go out and start digging in his full desert attire. We got an individual vest here, his belt. Look at the dirt detailing on his clothing. Lots of detail in his beard, all the way down to his pants and his boot attire, ready to go out and do some digging. Look at the detail even in his shoelaces here.
We have no time. If you still want the Ark, it has been loaded onto a truck for Cairo.
So Sala's accessories are a detachable rope and a shovel that can fit in his hand there, and the rope can fit around his arm like that, and he is ready to go on an expedition. And then he does also come with the top lid and the bottom of the build an artifact here.
I'm going after that truck. Oh, I don't know. I'm making this up as I go.
Similar articulation just like we saw in Indy. We got a great ball joint here in the head, and that does extend down into the neck a little bit. Great waist movement here. The arms up and down and around. The elbow can go up and down and around. Movement in the hands as well, all the way around. And then his attire does kind of block the articulation down here, but we do have the same articulation in the legs. Those can also twist around, and then down in the knee as well, and down into the foot.
Do we need the monkey, huh?
I'm surprised at you, Jones, talking that way about our baby. He's got your looks, too.
And your brain.
Marion Ravenwood is comfortable in any situation, including ballrooms and barroom brawls. Here is Marion right out of the film Raiders of the Lost Ark. Look at the detail in this figure. Look at the fine detail in her hair all the way around. I love the costume and the paint detail that they put into her costume. It really just jumps right out and looks like it's right out of the film. This long, puffy, flowing outfit all the way down through her legs. And then look at the attention to detail down here in her shoes even. You can see the stitching and weaving of her shoes. Now she comes with a signature frying pan that we all know from the movie. And yes, it does fit perfectly in her hand. And then her little detachable monkey, and he is adorable. Look at the attention to detail in this little guy. His little face, his little vest that he's wearing. And he even has articulation. You can actually, it's more than just up and down. You can kind of move his arms around. You can move his little head, his tail, and he can sit right up on her shoulder as well. And then she also comes with the front wall and one of the sides of the Ark of the Covenant.
Not the man I knew 10 years ago.
It's not the years. It's the mileage.
Now as far as articulation goes, sorry, I'm going to have to take your frying pan and your monkey. We do have movement in her head, down into her arms, her elbows here, her hands, down into her waist. Same articulation here in the legs. They can go out and also move around, down into the knee, and then finally down into the foot. There is a swivel there on the bottom of her foot. René Belloq was a French archaeologist and rival of his American counterpart Indiana Jones, as he prepares to open the Ark of the Covenant here in his ceremonial clothing, a mistake that will prove disastrous.
Dr. Jones, again we see there is nothing you can possess which I cannot take away.
And here we have René Belloq in his ceremonial garb from the Raiders of the Lost Ark. And look at the detail here in this. The checkered paint that goes all the way through. And look, it's not even just a square. There's actually the little detailing inside there. The beautiful colors that they used here on this chest piece that look like they're different stones, all the way up into the headgear here. You can see all the fine detailing that goes around his head, still with his eyes and his hair. And this goes all the way around, even this little flowery kind of pattern down in here. That's part of the actual mold of the figure. And then he also has pants underneath and boots, as any archaeologist would. For accessories, he does come with a detachable goat head staff. You can see there's goat heads, and that does fit nicely here in his hand, so he can hold that. And then he also comes with the handles of the Ark of the Covenant build-up artifact.
Where shall I find a new adversary so close to my own level?
Try the local sewer.
For articulation here, we do have the same in his head and down into his neck. His waist has movement there, up into his arms. No real limitations there on the upper body. Lots of movement. Then down into the waist. And then this does kind of get in the way, but he does have the same articulation underneath in the legs, both out and around, and then down into his knees as well, and into his foot.
Indy, over here! Indiana Jones, at your service, Toad! Ah!
A nefarious agent of evil, Major Arnold Tote races against Indiana Jones to locate the lost Ark of the Covenant.
I'll tell you everything.
Yes, I know you will. And here's the villain here, Mr. Major Arnold Tote. Look at him just with this villainous look on his face. But lots of detail there, even in his glasses. There's actually clear coating over the lenses, which is kind of a very neat, unique thing. We can still see his eyes underneath. Lots of detail here in his suit and all the way down into his shoes here. Very prim and proper looking man.
Americans, you're all the same. Always overdressing for the wrong occasions.
And then he does come with this overcoat that fits over top of him. You cannot put his arms through, but he just kind of wears that over top. And then, of course, he has his hat. So unlike the Indy figure, where you cannot remove the hat, this hat does come as an accessory here. Speaking of accessories, he does come with a detachable pistol. And his hand is nicely molded to fit that in there. And we are talking about these figures being right out of the movie, so we do have an additional alternate burn hand, and lastly a melting head. That's a really disgusting accessory, but they still did the detail in the glasses with that clear plastic there. You can see his eyes through there and his melting head. And yes, that is gross, but it is all part of the film. And then the last accessory is he comes with the back wall and the other side wall to the Ark. Now for articulation, we do have some great movement up here in his head and his neck area. You're going to lose a lot of that if you keep the trench coat on, but once you take that off, you have the same movement in all the figures of this line. Up in the shoulders here, they can go out and around, down into the elbow, into the hand, and in his waist, his legs, his knees, and finally down into his feet. Now that we unbox them all, we get to build the artifact.
Jones, do you realize what the Ark is? It's a transmitter. It's a radio for speaking to God.
And now we finally have all of the pieces here to build an artifact here, the Ark of the Covenant. So let's do it. You can collect all the figures in this Adventure Series assortment to acquire the pieces needed to build the Ark of the Covenant. You can discover the Indiana Jones Adventure Series collection for yourself right now over at Toyshnip.com and start building your collection worthy of belonging in a museum. And don't miss Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny in theaters June 30th. I'm Turko from Toyshnip.com, and now that we've discovered our ancient artifact, we'll see you on our next unboxing adventure. And make sure you don't miss out on any of the fun here at Toyshnip.com. Subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, and follow us on our socials. I don't know. Could we be? No, I got glasses. Wow. And here it is. You're mocking me, aren't you?